Remember not to write all your math papers in ink. Remember to show all your work if you don't want to see. Remember the test day and prepare for it wholly, because if you don't, then you'll perform poorly.
Hey guys, let's go over quiz number 4, 1.1 to 1.5, taken November 10th, 2021. Given the quadratic below, write it in standard form and then provide the values of a, b, and c. I'm going to underline standard form. And standard form says you have ax squared plus bx plus c. Now I noticed this value right here shouldn't be there, because when you're solving quadratics you always set it equal to 0. To solve quadratics and to be in standard form, it should be set equal to 0. So I would subtract 9, 4x squared minus 2x plus 3. So there my a value is 4. My b value is negative 2. Notice I'm not including the x. And the c value is not 12, it is 3. Okay. Another mistake might be to include c as your 9, but that's incorrect. Number 2, match the graph with the number of roots. Roots is just a way of saying these blue dots. So we call them roots, x-intercepts, solutions, zeros. Okay, so this graph here has how many? This one has 2. So this would be 2 roots. Okay, this one doesn't touch the x-axis, so this would be 0 roots. Or 0 real roots. This one has 2 real roots. Why are they called real? Because they cross the x-axis. This one does not cross x-axis. That's complex. And the other one would be, now this is only 1 root, but we call this a double root, not to be confused with 2 roots. So double, the reason why it's called a double root is because it might be like, say, x equals 2, and then it's x equals 2, and x equals 2 is your answer. Okay? So this one is 1 root is your answer. 1 real root. Question number 3, based on the graph, what are the zeros of the function? Well, the zeros are where it crosses the x-axis, so here and here. So that is x equals 2 and x equals 7, which is choice B. Question number 4, graph the following quadratic equation. You could transform this into vertex form, but you can just also graph this in standard, because that's what it is. How do you know it's in standard form? There's no parentheses. A is 1, B is negative 4, and C is 3. And what I would do here is I would just need to find the vertex. Vertex is an ordered pair, x comma y. And I like to use that the vertex is this x formula. X equals negative b over 2a. So my a is 1. My b is negative 4. Put those in parentheses to simplify. So I have x equals negative 4 over 2. So that means you have x equals opposite of negative 2, so x equals 2. Okay, so how do I use that in a standard form? Well, now I can complete a table of values. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one here is so important, it must go in the middle here. Where did my colors go? So I put 2 here, and then you can just count up and down. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting it into that function, f of x equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. Okay, so if I put in 4, this becomes 16 minus 16 plus 3. So the answer is just 3. So I put in an order pair 4, comma 3. Okay, how did I get the order pair 4, 3? I get 4 from over here. Right, that's the one I substituted in. And then my answer is 3. And so I get that 3. And we just need to do this a bunch of times, right? 3 squared minus 4 times 3 plus 3. So that would be 9 minus 12 plus 3. Negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. So my answer goes in the y, or f of x. And I put in a 3. 3 comma 0 is my solution. Let's go ahead and put in a 2. Let's do orange. 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 3. 4 minus 8 plus 3, negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So my answer goes on the second part over here. So f of x is the same thing as saying y. And the number I put in there was a 2. Let's put in a 1. So 1 squared is 1 minus 4 plus 3. So negative 3 plus 3 is equal to 0. 1 comma 0 is my answer. And the last one, you have 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 3. 0 minus 0 plus 3. My answer is 3. If you notice what I did here in my order pairs, I did something. Do you see my color coding? So 4, 3, so right 4 up 3. Let's do the other blue, 0, 3. Let's do the white. 3, 0. And 1, 0. And then the vertex, which is 2, negative 1, right 2 down 1. See how close I can get through going through these. And then in pink, x equals 2. That was my axis of symmetry. You don't need that, but I'm just trying to show you how the vertex, the orange dot, is on that. So 2, negative 1 is my vertex. A couple of other ways you know that this is correct. In standard form, your c value is your y-intercept, which you have right here. And then a value is positive, so that means it's going to open, like smiles. People smile when they're positive. Okay? When you guys press that parabola button, it just kind of plots it, and you kind of just move where the vertex is, and then you have your answer. Alright, question number 5. How do you simplify the square root of negative 24 using the imaginary unit of I? So, negative 1 times the square root of 24. I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So if you use this information right here, instead of writing square root of negative 1, you're going to write I. 24 is 4 times 6. And then you just have the square root of 4, which is 2. 2i radical 6. Notice you don't need to put plus or minus because you're not solving for x here. We didn't have to take the square root property. Another mistake, like a letter B, that I is on the outside of the radical sign. Alright, question number 6. What are the two zeros of the function? Remember, two zeros is just where does it cross the x-axis, okay? But if you notice, this one's called factored form, and you just set it equal to 0. And in my introductory video, I said 0 is equal to square times the triangle. What does that imply? You know, something times 0 equals 0. So that means one of these has to be equal to 0. That's why we set both of these equal to 0, the square and the triangle. So what does that mean for us? We set both of these equal to 0. Add 2, x equals 2. Subtract 9, x equals -9. So 2, what are the two zeros? So x equals 2 and x equals -9. Because, why does it make equal 0? Because if you put in -9, you get 0 there. Or if you put in 2 here, it can't write. 2 minus 2 would give you 0, and 0 times whatever that is on the other side doesn't really matter, you will get a 0. What are the values of x in the equation x squared minus 3x minus 20 equals 0? Basically telling you to solve. And what's the easiest method? It is factoring. So let's see if we can factor this. A, B, C. A is 1. So A times C is -28, equals to all the factors of 28, 28 and 1, 14 and 2, 4 and 7. I need a b value that two numbers add to be -3. So 7 and 4, so I add them together, this would be -7, times 4 is -28, -7, plus 4 is -3. We are splitting this term, so we have to have an x here, because -7x plus 4x equals -3x. Those two will always go here into the bottom left. 4x goes in the top right. 1x squared, -28. Alright, greatest common factor in this direction is x. Greatest common factor, remember, do you see why? The greatest common factor in this direction is -7. They both have a -7 in common. This direction, x, and this one's a -4. -4, +4. So if I factor that, that's x plus 4, x minus 7. And then do the same thing we did above, set them both equal to 0. Subtract, and you'll get x equals -4, and +7 is your answer. Double box. There's no difference. I just decided to do that. -4 and 7. So our answer is C. Okay, this is not a bonus. It's just a question. Which rewritten form of 2x squared plus x minus 6 reveals the zeros of the function? So go through each of these and you can tell the forms. So this one has one set of parentheses. This is called vertex form. The vertex is just going to help me find the maximum or minimum, but that doesn't tell me a 0. A 0, like we said before, is where it crosses the x-axis. So the pink dots, that's what we're looking for. So not that one. This one just took out a greatest common factor, right? They just took out a 2. So that's not ours. Okay, C, this one's better because I at least have factored form. That's better. And this one is, you can call it factoring by grouping, but you'll see why D is wrong. Let's go ahead and just factor this. So A, B is 1, and C is -6. If you haven't figured out the trick is you need to use the x when a is, whoa, where'd you go? A is 1, and then you need to use both of these when a is greater than 1. Let me say the trick again. Or it's not trick, or observation. When you're factoring trinomials, when your a value is 1, you just have to use the x. But in this case, because a is greater than 1, you have to use both the x and the box. A times c is negative 12. My b value is 1. That two numbers are going to be 4 and 3. (4x) negative 3x. This is going to be 2x squared, and the top one's minus 6. Now, can you see that? Let me point this out to you guys. 2x minus 3 is 2x minus 3. And let's see, let's factor this. Let's just factor this. So greatest common factor is 2x, x, there it is, plus 2, minus 3. So you see the x plus 2 right there. This is like one more step, and then you would get letter C. So C is our correct answer. It's the correct answer because if you set those equal to 0, just do it really quickly. So x equals negative 2, x equals 3/2. These would be the zeros that we were talking about. Okay? Number 9, calculate completing the square to solve the equation. Which equation would be the result of completing the square? Okay, so completing the square means it's not factorable. You move the c value to the right side, and you can already eliminate a and b because there's no 2 in front. Do you see that? Okay, let's just go ahead and do this. So now I'm going to factor out a 2 to make it smaller. So I have 2 times x squared minus 16x. To complete the square, I'm going to use half of the b value and square it. So inside the parentheses, my b value is negative 16. That's negative 8, which is half of negative 16, and you get negative 64. Now, I need 64, but what value do I put over here? Well, remember, you can distribute, and you'll get 2x squared minus 32x minus 128. So in order to have negative 128 on that side, you're going to have negative 128 on that side. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me write this on the side, negative 128 plus 10, right? Okay, so hey. Okay, let's factor the inside here. So you'll get, well, I don't need the x because a is 1. Remember, inside there, a times c is negative 64, b value is negative 16, negative 8, and negative 8. To prove to you why my trick works, not trick, it's an observation. Inside is x squared and then negative 64. You would get x, negative 8x, and negative 8. Okay, so over here you have I should have just divided by 2 in the beginning. That's what I should have done. And if I divide by 2, the wonderful thing about math, it is very forgiving. So I messed up and should have divided by 2 in the beginning, but that's okay because the math gods knew what I was trying to do. Oh, I see a mistake. Plus 64. So it'll be 128. This would be a negative. So this would be positive. So this should be positive, so 138 divided by 2 is 69. And that means that this would be positive, positive, positive. No, no, no. Still negative. And 19 plus 50 is 69. Okay. Well, initially I was wrong, because look at my answers. Now I can tell you why this, let's do super thick, this matches this one, B. Because the point is, even though you get an equivalent expression, right? If I just divided the whole thing by 2, you would have gotten x squared minus 16x equals 5 and go from there. The whole point is that you'll find the vertex, this point will be the same. So number 9 is B. And that was it. I hope these were super helpful for you guys. We'll see you later. Bye.